in this list of questions I saw today, the second question is, do you have a human name or a dog name?
Oh, that's so unfair. Come on. Only you can ask me that. Only you, because your name is Anthony, and I've never met a dog named Anthony. So, you can just go screw yourself right now. Just go screw yourself. I can't even have this conversation with you.
Here's a list that worked better for a dog instead of a person. Buddy, Milo, Ginger, Bo, Bruno. Bruno's a good name for a dog.
Yeah.
Tucker, Coco, Marley, Trixie, and Roscoe. Roscoe's a good name for a dog, too.
Those are all good dog names, yeah.
So names that work better for a person, Charlie, Sammy, Maddie, Millie, Maggie, Tanner, and Lucy.
Cooper's not on there?
No, names that work equally well for a person or a dog, Finn, Bailey, Max, Oli, Sadie, and Gigi.
Okay. I feel like Gigi these days.
It's a cat name.
It's definitely a cat name. And you know what else it is? This is so funny. So this producer that I used to work with is she's a little older and she just became a grandma. But she's like one of these like hip young New York producer women who will not be called grandma. So she has the grandchildren call her Gigi instead of grandma.
Just go with grandma. Just stop it.
Yeah, she won't go with grandma. She goes
years
with Gigi.
old, go with grandma.
Nope. And what's so funny is I said to her, I was like, so they call you Gigi? Like, why don't you just have them call you by your name? Just have them call you Nancy. She's like, no, they're not my friends. I don't want them saying, hey, Nancy. I'm like, but hey, Gigi is the same thing. And she's like, no, Gigi is just a name that they call me uniquely instead of grandma.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird until she told me that her best friend has her grandkids call her Precious.
See,
yeah.
you so fall in that category because if you had kids and your kids had kids, there is no way your kids would be able to call you grandma.
No, they would call me Cooper. Just call me by my name.
Yeah, and your mom would not let them call her great grandmother.
No, my mother, not in a million years, would want to be grandma or great grandma. No, never. But I wouldn't then go find some other weird, unique name. I would just say, call me Cooper. Like, hey, Cooper, my mother's being a pain in the neck. Hey, Cooper, you want to go to the park?
Yeah, you can't do that because if your kids call you by your real name, it's weird. So if your grandkids call you by your real name, it's really weird.
What's wrong? See, that's the thing I don't understand. All my friends' kids call them by their first name when they call other parents by their first name. Like, I don't know anybody anymore who calls their best friend's parents by the last. Like, no one says Mr. and Mrs. Smith anymore. Like, they just call them John and Mary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's because kids don't have no respect. That's because you live in the North. In the South, we have something called respect.
It's not disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. If my kids called me Anthony, I would smack them.
But do your kids' friends call you Anthony, or they call you Mr. Michaels?
Mr. Michaels.
What?
Yes.
What are you, 100? I don't like that at all. I think that's so formal and so weird.
It's called manners.
I don't think it's bad manners to call somebody by their first name. I think it shows like they're
respect.
Cool, they're a friend. No, I think it's the opposite. It shows that they can talk to you. You know, like if I had kids, I would want my kids' friends to call me Cooper. I want them to come over and be like, hey, Cooper, let me tell you what happened today at school. I'd be like, great.
It would be weird. It's just weird if my kids' friends come over and say, Anthony, can I have something out of the refrigerator? No, it's Mr. Michaels. Then you can get it.
I think that's so weird. You know, it's one thing if the kids were 5 or 6, but they're almost adults.
Right.
So like your oldest son, his friends come over, they got to call you Mr. Michaels?
Yes, it's respectful.
Wow, that's so weird and old school, and I guess that's a Southern thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in New York does that anymore. Nobody up here at all does that. Everybody calls everybody by their first name. Remember the first time that I was hanging out with a friend of mine in New Jersey? I thought it was just a New York thing. I was hanging out with a friend of mine in New Jersey, and his kids are 8 and 6. And their friends came over, and they were like, Gene, can we have something to drink? I thought it was so cute.
See, that's why I think the North and South are so different. And you don't think they are, but they are. You know, when I was in New York, I would call everybody sir and ma'am. And they thought that was disrespectful. But I do it all the time here. You know,
No, because, excuse me, sir and ma'am is not disrespectful. It's the way you would say it.
no,
Okay,
I'll even,
ma'am.
no, I do not. So if a 20-year-old is cutting my hair, she goes, well, does this look good? Yes, ma'am, that looks great. But if I did
Why
that
do you
in New
say
York,
ma'am? Why can't you just say, yes, it looks great? Why must you throw in a
because
ma'am
I'm being
or a sir?
respectful.
But it's not disrespectful to answer somebody's question directly. You don't have to address them by any particular way.
We are going to fight about this until the day I die. This is one thing you and I will always disagree about.
A waitress brings you food. All you have
Right.
to say is thank you. You don't have to say thank you, ma'am, because I'll tell you why. A lot of women of a certain age find ma'am very insulting.
Well, then they shouldn't get old.
But some of them may not be old, and you're deciding whether they're a ma'am or a miss.
I'm not deciding that. I'm
insulting.
that's being nice.
No, it's not being nice, because if somebody is 40, it's not up to you whether they're a ma'am or a miss. You don't know their life,
I say ma'am
So-
to you.
and I don't like it.
It's just two totally different worlds because
I've
everybody
I've seen you call younger people ma'am, and I think
I
that's
do it
weird.
all
Like,
the time.
If I lived in the South, I'd be fighting every single day.
that's why you don't live in the South. A, because you couldn't go anywhere because you don't have a driver's license or a car, and
point.
B, you're very rude to everybody.
No, I would take Uber everywhere, and I would get out of the car and I'd say thank you, not thank you, sir.
Why?
Because
It's called
also,
respect.
hang on a minute. Excuse me, you don't know if that person identifies as a man. So it's not up to you to decide if they're a sir or not. Maybe my driver is transgender. Maybe my driver is non-binary. I don't know. It's not up to me to say ma'am or sir. How about just saying thank you?
I'm this old. I'm not going to change. I mean, you're not going to change me. It comes out. It's just habit.
You're not old enough to say that.
It's just habit. I'm sorry. I mean, I was told from the time I was born that that's how you talk to people. And it's just
Well, guess
banged.
what? There's a new generation, and you need to be part of it, where where people get to decide what their identity is, not you. It's not up to you if someone's a sir or a ma'am or a miss.
Okay, you're not changing me. So nobody's going to change me. It's going to happen. It's always going to happen. They can talk crap about me after I walk away. I don't care.
They are.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm happy the way I am, and I'm being respectful. If they don't
Okay.
like it, then talk crap about me. I
That's
don't
fine. Just know your food is getting spit in
care.
every restaurant
just
you
because
go
I'm
to.
being nice to them. Well,
You eat a lot of spit, my friend.
that's fine.